welcome to another Author Reads with me, your host, D.M. Wright. I support Red Nose Day, and if you wish to as well, the link is in the description. You can find all of my works at dmwproductionsoz.com. Today we're going to be going through the Second Great Emu War of 1932. So that's this one here. Scroll it a bit further. So we're going to be kicking it off with chapter 1. There is a prelude beforehand, so it's not the very first words of the book. But there we go. So we'll go from here. Clifford Bevan, the assistant to the Australian Minister for Defence, rubbed the sweat from his forehead with his wrist and filled in the last of a hole with a shovel. Julius tied a final knot around a bound wooden cross, then stood it upright at the head of his daughter's grave, ready to be bashed into the ground. Clifford handed over the shovel for the bounty hunter to do the honours. Julius hammered the marker into the soft dirt with a repeating thump. Without a word, the two men from different worlds shook one another's hands in appreciation, and at the hunter's waved invitation, they sat together at the foot of the grave on a mound of excess dirt to face the western horizon. The grieving father was not to be reckoned with. Who would dare question him on the sanctity of the traditional 3-day waiting period of burying a loved one? A riding incident had taken away his girl earlier that day, and now here he was, upon the edge of the hills to the northeast of the Campion district, burying her as the sun set with one man for whom he had never dreamed of showing any respect. The two men sat in silence, one in mourning, the other in reflection, overlooking the farmland plains that seemed to stretch on forever. The sun's final beams painted the wheat fields golden, and the scattered dams sparkled like the bluest of tropical waters. Clifford slipped out a silver case and offered a cigarette. Julius accepted, and in return offered a packet of matches. Several puffs passed between them as they basked in the warmth of the descending sun. "She always wanted to be buried here," said Julius. "My little girl. Now she'll always be my little girl. Never be able to grow up." He blew out a long cloud of cigarette smoke, and Clifford respectfully remained silent. "We've come up here every year for 12 years. We were going to fix her headstone this summer." Julius pointed to a broken cross laying on the ground in a bald patch of hardened soil beside the new grave. "Her mother," he explained. "Marie wanted to go to school. In Sydney, would you believe? But I didn't want her. I didn't want to leave her." Julius looked to the broken cross, then grunted at the newly erected. "So now I have 2 to fix." Having sucked so hard, his cigarette ended swiftly before his companion was yet to reach halfway. Julius doused it in the dirt and gave it the flick. Clifford offered him a second. The hunter ignited and pulled in a heavy drag. The exhaled smoke hung over him like a dark rain cloud. "I appreciate the emu," he said. "I do. I appreciate his choice of how to die. You've been shot. You know it's all coming to an end, but you keep going. Keep going. Don't drop if you can make it. Die where you want to die, not where the hunter wants you to. Keep going. The emu finds a place alone in the bush. It's where it feels at home. Me, it's right here with my family. If I know my time has come, I'll be here, and if I can't make it, keep going. If the Lord was ever going to, for once, answer my prayers, it would be for 3 things: make it up the hill, spend the last moments with my girls, and the sun is beautiful." Julius ogled this way and that. Sunrise, sunset, east, west, doesn't matter. This spot, it's everything. The sun sunk beneath the horizon, and the sky ignited with reds, oranges, yellows, and the brightest pinks unlike Clifford had ever seen before. His gaping mouth dropped his cigarette to his lap as he became mesmerized by the wonderful wonderland of colourful clouds. The Lord has answered her prayers. Julius smiled and began to croon out of tune. Once when a father was asked where would he send his darling girl to fight, he just answered no, and I think he'll admit he was right. Clifford slipped out his harmonica from an inner coat pocket, and he accompanied Julius with a backing melody. I didn't raise my girl to be a soldier. I brought her up to be my pride and joy. Who dares to put a musket on her shoulder to kill some other father's darling girl? The nations ought to arbitrate their quarrels. It's time to put the sword and gun away. There'd be no war today if fathers all would say, I didn't raise my girl to be a soldier. The men sat in silence, allowing the evening darkness to sweep over them.